Day 1 of 3, The Cross. Hello, I'm Bobbie Ann Cole, Christian author, speaker, and writing teacher. These are my books. This is day 1 of my 3-day mini-series talking about the true meaning of Easter. Deuteronomy 21:23 tells us that anyone who is hung on a tree is under God's curse. My Jewish background helps me to see connections of the cross to the Jewish Passover and to the book of Leviticus that may pass others by. These connections deepen our understanding of what Jesus did for us. Jesus died on the cross as the Passover came in. The festival of Passover remembers how God freed the children of Israel from slavery in Egypt and led them into a land of milk and honey, the Promised Land. Jesus aligned himself with that message. He would free us from the slavery of death and lead us into his promised land of eternal life. He would demonstrate that eternal life was possible by rising from the grave. Passover is held every year at this season, but this year was extra special because the Passover began on the Sabbath. The implication is that we will find rest through Jesus leading us out of slavery on Shabbat, the Sabbath, and into the Promised Land. I want to mention 2 aspects of the cross that align with what God told his people about Jesus as Messiah in the Old Testament. 1. We have proof Jesus was who he said he was through the cross. His suffering fulfilled what was foretold in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. 2. He became the sacrificial lamb prophesied by Isaiah. Firstly, Jesus' cry of Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, my God, why have you forsaken me, was both a heartfelt plea and a quotation of the first line of Psalm 22. Jesus was drawing our attention to this psalm that is uncanny in its prophetic accuracy of Jesus' suffering. Verses 7 to 8 say, all who see me mock me, they hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord, they say, let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. And verses 14 to 15 say, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax, it has melted within me. My mouth is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. We know that vinegar was offered to Jesus who thirsted. We know that water and blood seeped from his body as a Roman soldier speared his side. Verses 16 to 18 tell us, a pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment. Nails were driven through Jesus' hands and feet. Onlookers yelled at him to save himself and come down from the cross, as Roman soldiers cast lots for his robe, which had some value. Secondly, Jesus as the sacrificial lamb. God told Moses to tell the children of Israel to slaughter a lamb and daub its blood on their doorposts. In this way, the angel of death would pass over their houses, and they would be spared from the 10th plague, death of the firstborn. It was this final, devastating plague that made Pharaoh free the children of Israel from slavery, so that they could set off for the Promised Land. Jesus is our Passover lamb who saves. And he is our sacrificial lamb too. Our atonement offering, our thanks offering too. Isaiah 53:7 says, he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its hearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. As this was happening to Jesus, Nearby at the great altar of the temple, the blood of thousands of lambs was being sprinkled upon it as the Passover slaughter took place. Every household in Jerusalem was preparing to feast on its Passover lamb, ritually slaughtered by the temple priests. The priests formed conveyor belts from the slaughtering priest, who gathered a cup of spilled blood from each animal, passing it back through the file to the high priest, who sprinkled the blood on the altar. At 3 p.m., just as the priests finished, Jesus gave up the ghost. At that moment, a massive earthquake shook the city. But more of that tomorrow. I'd like to take this opportunity of inviting you to get Where Jesus Walked, a virtual pilgrimage to the Holy Land in pictures. This free booklet contains some anecdotes from my time living in Israel. It's available for you here, prayerfulpilgrims.com. Celebrate Jesus' ministry. Go get Where Jesus Walked now. Shalom, and see you tomorrow.